Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. We're tackling a creature today that, well, let's just say it doesn't exactly have the best PR.
Yeah, these guys have kind of a creepy reputation.
That's putting it mildly. We're talking about the Jerusalem cricket. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jerusalem cricket. Must be some kind of chirping bug hanging out in, well, Jerusalem, right?
And that's where things get interesting.
Exactly. The name itself is kind of a misnomer, a head-scratcher, if you will. Because, first of all, they're not really crickets, and second, they're about as far from Jerusalem as you can get.
Yeah, you won't find these guys anywhere near the Middle East.
Nope, these critters are actually native to the western U.S. and Mexico. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What do these things even look like? Paint us a picture.
Okay, so imagine an insect, but like supersized. We're talking 2 to 3 inches long. Think, bigger than your thumb.
Whoa, okay, that's not small.
Not at all. They have these like really robust bodies, almost tank-like,
Yeah.
covered in a hard protective exoskeleton.
Exoskeleton, that means they molt, right? They shed their skin as they grow.
Exactly. Just like other insects with exoskeletons. And their abdomen, it's got these cool stripes, kind of like a potato, which is why some people call them potato bugs.
I've heard that too. But it's got to be more than just size and stripes that freak people out, right?
Oh, yeah. It's the head that really gets you. It's
Oh.
big, round, and it has these incredibly powerful jaws, or mandibles.
Okay, no, those sound intimidating.
Yeah.
Those mandibles got to be for more than just munching on leaves, right?
You got it. Those mandibles are a big clue to their lifestyle, unlike true crickets, which, chirp and hop around.
Right, your classic backyard cricket.
Exactly. Well, Jerusalem crickets, they're wingless and silent.
Wait, so no chirping.
Nope, no chirping serenades from these guys.
Huh. That's actually kind of surprising. But if they don't hop, how do they get around?
They dig. Those powerful legs aren't for jumping. They're made for burrowing. They create tunnels and live underground, mainly in loose soil.
So they're like little underground architects. I bet that burrowing must have some impact on the environment, right? Like, does it affect the soil in any way?
You're totally on the right track. Their constant digging actually helps aerate the soil.
No, that makes sense. More air pockets for water and roots to move through.
Exactly. They're like tiny ecosystem engineers, constantly working to improve their underground habitats.
So we've established they're big, they're strong, and they live underground. But how do they communicate? If they don't chirp, do they like send smoke signals through their burrows or something?
Not quite smoke signals, but they do communicate through vibrations.
Vibrations.
Yeah, they'll tap their abdomens against the ground, kind of like drumming, to create vibrations that travel through the soil.
Wow, so they're literally talking through the earth.
Pretty cool, huh? It's a great example of how animals adapt to their environments to communicate and survive.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've covered their looks and how they communicate.
Mm.
But what keeps these digging machines running? What do they eat?
Well, they're omnivores.
Omnivores. So, like us, they eat both plants and meat.
Exactly. Decaying plants, roots, tubers, even other insects.
Really? Guess those strong mandibles come in handy there.
Absolutely. They need that strength to break down tough plant material and scavenge on dead insects. They're kind of like nature's recyclers.
I see. So they're like a natural composting system, breaking down organic matter and returning those nutrients to the soil.
Precisely. They're essential decomposers, playing a crucial role in maintaining a healthy ecosystem.
Okay, so we've got these big, strong, soil-dwelling, omnivorous insects that communicate through vibrations. Sounds like a pretty unique critter. But let's talk about the, shall we say, more intimate side of things. How do these guys reproduce?
Well, remember that drumming behavior we talked about?
The abdomen tapping.
Yeah, that's how the males attract mates. They send out these vibrations through the soil, and if a female is interested, she'll respond. Then things get pretty interesting.
Interesting. How so?
Their courtship can involve some, let's just say, aggressive interactions.
Aggressive, you mean like fighting?
Kinda. They might bite, they might wrestle, it can get pretty intense.
Wow, talk about a rough first date. But it sounds like this wrestling might actually serve a purpose, right? Like maybe it helps them assess each other's strength and fitness as potential mates.
That's exactly it. It's like a test of compatibility, making sure they choose a strong and healthy partner.
Survival of the fittest, right?
Yeah.
So once they've found their match, what happens next? Do they build a little love nest in their burrow?
Something like that. Once they've mated, the female will lay her eggs in the soil.
And then what?
Then the little nymphs, which look like mini versions of the adults, hatch and start their journey to adulthood.
How long does that take?
It can take quite a while, actually, months, even up to a year. And unlike, say, a butterfly, which undergoes complete metamorphosis.
Right? Caterpillar to chrysalis to butterfly.
Exactly. Well, Jerusalem crickets transform gradually. They molt their exoskeletons as they grow larger, a process called hemimetabolous development.
Hemimetabolous development. I love
Yeah.
learning new scientific terms. So they just keep getting bigger and bigger until they reach their full size. It's fascinating how nature has so many different ways of doing things.
Mhm.
Now, I have to ask about something that I think is on everyone's mind. These guys, well, they're kind of scary looking.
Oh, I definitely get that. Those big, powerful mandibles, that hard exoskeleton. I can see how some people might find them intimidating.
And that brings us to the big question. The elephant in the room, or maybe the cricket in the garden, are these things dangerous?
Well, their size and those mandibles definitely contribute to the myth that they're venomous, but
Wait, so that's just a myth. They're not actually venomous.
nope, not at all. Their bite can be painful, for sure, but it's not poisonous. It's a defense mechanism.
So they're more likely to run and hide than actually bite a human.
Exactly. They'd much rather avoid confrontation.
That makes sense. I mean, they spend most of their time underground anyway. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? They get this bad rap, often portrayed as these scary monsters in movies and stories. But in reality, they'd rather just be left alone to their digging and decomposing.
It really highlights how much our perceptions of nature are shaped by, well, sometimes by fear, by misconceptions, instead of, actual scientific understanding.
So true. It's a good reminder to look beyond the surface and learn the facts before jumping to conclusions. What can our listeners take away from this deep dive on the Jerusalem cricket?
I think the biggest takeaway is that even creatures that might seem creepy or unsettling play vital roles in our ecosystems.
Yeah, they're all part of the intricate web of life.
Exactly. The Jerusalem cricket, with its unique lifestyle and adaptations, is a perfect example of that. It challenges our assumptions, forces us to confront our fears, and ultimately opens our eyes to the incredible diversity and resilience of life on Earth.
I love that. And who knows? Maybe learning about the Jerusalem cricket will inspire us to take a closer look at other misunderstood creatures. There's a whole world of wonder waiting to be discovered right in our own backyards.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep learning, and you never know what amazing creatures you might encounter.
That's great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. And remember, the next time you see something a little different, a little strange, don't shy away. Take a moment to learn about it. You might be surprised by what you find.